Hello and welcome back to Moody Park Game 4 on the day, Game 2 of our doubleheader between the Trenton Generals and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Miners. You can see on the scoreboard there, Generals won 5-2 in game number 1. And don't worry folks, we'll reset that for you right now. And here we are in the top of the first. Score back over to 0-0. It's Jack Mathis up at the plate here. And Mathis with a 1-1 count. Taking that one low for ball number 2. The 2-2 count from Mathis goes over to Logan Eilbacher over there on first base for out number 1 here in the first inning of game number 2.
Number 21, third baseman Luke Spencer.
Brings on Luke Spencer. Spencer staring down a 2-0 count here. One out on the board. He's facing off against Tommy Delaney. And Delaney putting up a 3-0 count now. Delaney's only pitched 4 1/3 innings pitched. He started in the 2 games he's played in. He's credited with 1 loss. He's allowed 7 hits through those 4 innings and 5 earned runs. Walking 3 batters, striking out only 1. All comes out to an 8.07 ERA. The 3-1 rolls over to Gavin West, who makes the throw to first for out number 2.
Number 31, right fielder Jake Milan.
Now facing off against Jake Milan, that is, Tommy Delaney. Just wrapped up his junior season at UPenn. Pitched 6 innings over there. Allowed 13 hits and 8 earned runs. Struck out 5 batters for a 12.0 ERA. Face Milan here after that foul ball. It's a 1-1 count. Couple of wild pitches off the hand of Delaney. Turns the 1-1 into a 3-1 here. And the 1-1 turns into a 4-1 walk. Delaney looking to hone in the control a little bit here with his next batter, J.P. Kuzik. So Kuzik, the cleanup hitter. There's 2 outs on the board. He's got Milan over there on first. Kuzik in game number 1 was 1 for 2 with a walk. Kuzik is a .269 hitter on the year. Swung on out into left field. DeClerico chasing it down, and DeClerico makes the diving grab for out number 3 here in the top of the first.
For the Miners in the first, no runs, no hits. There were no errors and none left after 1 half.
So what a catch made out there in left field. And it looks like it's actually Jackson Wargo. So we have a couple things to look over in our roster, but regardless, a play is made out in left field for out number 3 in the top of the first. We'll figure that out and be right back with you in the bottom. This is Ben Chadwick bringing you through game 2 of this doubleheader between the Trenton Generals and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Miners. We'll be right back. So back here in the bottom of the first, here is the man that actually made that play out in left field, Jackson Wargo. And he grounds out over to first on the very first pitch.
Number 0, second baseman Sean Martinez. Just a 0.
Brings on Sean Martinez, who gets that one down onto right field, right over the head of Jeremy Cawley.
Number 13, third baseman Gavin West.
Brings on Gavin West, who got on base 3 out of the 3 times he saw the plate. Can they keep it going? This one out into right field. The catch will be made by Jake Milan for out number 2 here in the bottom.
Number 5, first baseman.
And now it's Logan Eilbacher. Taking the plate for the first time today. And slipping over was Grodak as he made that pitch. It's flown out into left field, and the catch is made by Luke Kopech out there. Very peculiar sequence of events right there. Ethan Grodak, who I will introduce you to, I suppose, in the bottom of the second inning now, threw the pitch and sort of tripped over on the mound. But Eilbacher still put a bat on it and still flew it out. for out number 3 by Luke Kopech out in left field. So through 1. We're still tied up at 0. We'll see you in the top of the second. Tommy Delaney back out there for his second inning of work.
Number 27, Nate Dudek.
Facing off against Nate Dudek, who was the starting pitcher in game number 1 and is now the designated hitter in game number 2 for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Miners. And Dudek just finished up his sophomore season at Fairleigh Dickinson. I told you guys his pitching stats for FDU in game number 1, so we'll move over to his hitting. He had 47 at-bats and a .362 average on them. Had 6 doubles and 7 RBIs to his name, alongside 6 walks. So a very solid sophomore campaign from Dudek, who has a 4-pitch walk. So Dudek over to Kopech. We'll see what he's able to do here. Luke Kopech committed to East Stroudsburg University. Similar to a good chunk of the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Miners team. So it's off with a 0-2 count after that foul ball. Braden Mesgill, the catcher here for the Generals, going to have a ball change. And that pitch is in there. What a nice breaking ball from Tommy Delaney for strike number 3 here in that at-bat. And out number 1 in the top of the second.
Number 28, first baseman, Devin Marker.
Brings on Devin Markert. This is his second game of action. A close pickoff, and it's successful. Dudek took a big lead, and Delaney made the throw over to Logan Albacher, who makes the tag for the second out. Great read from the pitcher, Tommy Delaney. Now here he is against Markert, who was 1 for 3 in game number 1. He also struck out once. Here he is with a 1-1 count, now with 2 outs on the board. And that ball low and in the dirt gives him a 2-1. Markert, the first baseman for the Miners. Swung out into left field. Could it be fair? Will it be fair? It will not be. Just fouled off by maybe 1.5 yards. But boy, that was good looking contact from Devin Marquardt. Last time he had an extra base hit, and the only time he's had an extra base hit all season long, was on June 18th against Southside, where he had a double. Other than that, no other triples, home runs, or doubles on the season for Marquardt. And he's got a 3-2 full count here with 2 outs on the board. Swung on, going to find the gap there and go out into left field. And the Miners dugout is loving it, despite the 2 outs. They are big fans of that hit from Marquardt. Possibly because they just feel like he deserved it after that smack was just barely fouled out into left field. So here's Jeremy Cawley with an 0-1 count. Ooh, that one was close. Mezgel tried to move his glove in there for strike number 2. Instead, we'll get a 1-1. Cawley was also 1 for 3 last game. He pops this one up. There's 2 outs on the board. Wargo looking to get under it, and Jackson Wargo makes the catch. And tries to look cool, flipping the ball behind his back to his center fielder. Unsuccessful there. But hey, he looked cool enough making the catch for out number 3 here in the top of the second. The score is all 0, heading into the bottom. Welcome you here into the bottom of the second inning. Ethan Grodak is on the mound for his second inning of work with a real quick first pitch. He's pitched 10 innings. Excuse me as I thought I had to sneeze, but did not. And I'm sure a couple people out there can relate to that being just one of the worst feelings. But let's get back to Ethan Grodak. He's pitched 10 innings. And he started 3 games so far this summer for the Miners. He's allowed just 6 hits and 3 earned runs while striking out 5 batters for a 2.10 ERA. He's facing Braden Mezgel, who flies this one out into right field, and the catch is made from Jake Milan for out number 1. So it brings on Antonio Dominici. Starts himself off with a 1-2 count. After the foul ball coming back towards us, and a swing and a miss right there. He did not play in game 1. The last time he played was against the Kings on Thursday, where he was 0 for 2. That one's a weak grounder that goes right over to Grodak, who makes the throw to first and takes his first baseman off the bag. That's going to be an error on the pitcher there. A wild throw. Somehow still caught by Markert. So you got to commend him for keeping the ball in his glove, but boy, was that a high toss. It'll all bring on Robert Kelly, who faces a 2-0 count. He's got Dominici on first rather. And Dominici in game 1 was 1 for 4 with a single. It was an RBI single at that. He gets that one just barely over Jack Mathis for his second hit of the day. Now there's runners on first and second for Lance Eilbacher.
Number 27, center fielder Lance Eilbacher.
So Eilbacher in the 8th hole. Grodak over 15 pitches. The bunt attempt looks pretty decent. Grodak, another throw over to first base, and it sails over the first baseman's head once again. And home comes Dominici. Kelly all the way there on third. Two throws to first base, 2 errors on the pitcher, Ethan Grodak, here in this inning alone. The head coach of the Miners is going to have a word with his pitcher after 2 back-to-back errors. Or rather 2 errors in 3 at-bats, I should say. Here in the bottom of the second. And now there's runners on the corners for Ryan Hasdovic. Hasdovic did not get on base in game 1. He was 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Brought his average down from a 267 to a 242. Pitch is low in the dirt. So here's the 1-0. And fouled off. Hasdovic in his sophomore season at Babson College was a .236 hitter. Had 3 doubles and 1 home run. 11 RBIs on those hits. He walked 8 times compared to his 18 strikeouts. And he's faced with a 1-2 count right here. Swung on, and it's right down Broadway for Ryan Hasdovic. The RBI single.
Number 8, left fielder Jackson Wargo.
So now it's runners on the corners once again. As we return to the top of the order for the Generals. Wargo, a smack out into right field. Should be caught, and it will be caught. But off goes Albacher. And the third run of the inning comes home for the Generals.
Number 0, second baseman Sean Martinez.
Stovic staying put on first after that sac fly. Sean Martinez is up at the plate. He's 1 for 1 at a single. And his first appearance at the plate, fouls that one off. Grodak over 20 pitches here, 18 in this inning alone. Pop fly from Martinez. Milano's coming forward, but Cawley will ultimately make the catch for out number 3 with the Generals.
For the Generals in the third, 3
Tally up 3 runs.
There were 2 errors and 1 left after 2.
And they hold a 3-0 lead heading in to the third. After a couple errors on Ethan Grodak, allow a couple runs to come home, and then 1 more after that. So Generals back into holding the lead, which they did for so long in game number 1. They'll be trying to do the same here in game number 2. We'll be right back for the top of the third. It's Evan Melberger here in the top of the third with his first at bat of the day. And it's swung on right over to Sean Martinez, who makes a nice and easy throw for out number 1 here in the third inning. And the Generals taking advantage of the 2 errors on Ethan Grodak in the second inning, who technically still has no earned runs in this game, despite, actually he has 1 earned run, but the 2 where errors were caused on will not tally up as earned runs for him. They will show up on his fielding statistics, but as a pitcher, just 1 of the 3 runs scored in today was his own fault technically when he was on the mound. Now, after that pitch is thrown, he's a completely different player in a different position. So back at the top of the order here with Jack Mathis, who faces a 2-1 count. And make that a 3-1. Breaking ball broke a little too far outside for Tommy Delaney, who is now nearing 40 pitches here in his third inning of work. And Mathis flies that one out into left field. It's being chased down by Albacher, and it's going to get over his head. Bounce up against the fence. Mathis is at second and will stay at second. So Jack Mathis has been easily the best hitter for the Miners all season long. And you can see why right there.
Number 21, third baseman Luke Spencer.
Albacher was on a full sprint and still couldn't reach it back at the fence. Mathis was 0 for 3 in game number 1, so this is his first hit. He's now 1 for 5. As it brings on Luke Spencer, who is also searching. Or rather, I take that back. He had 1 hit, 1 for 4 in game number 1. He's 0 for 1 here in the second of the doubleheader. Braden Mesgo having a word with his pitcher. Delaney now over 40 pitches. Has allowed 2 hits, walked 2 batters, and struck out 1. The 1-1, big hack at it, nothing to it for Luke Spencer, who was batting second in the order. Pops that one up way high. It's chased down by Gavin West up against the fence. And he was ready to pounce at it and try and jump over the fence if he needed to. But ultimately decided against it as the ball was a good 4 or 5 yards away. And out foul. The 1-2 is swung on, goes right over to Delaney, who makes the throw over to first. Now there's 2 outs on the board. Mathis advanced to third.
Number 31, right fielder Jake Milan.
Brings on Jake Milan. He walked in his 1 plate appearance on the day. And he will fly that one out foul. Milan in the first game was 1 for 4. And here he is, popping this one out to left center, forcing Eilbacher to really chase it down. Rather look like Wargo was the one making the catch out there in left center. He ran over to the right and then also doubled back to the left to make that grab. But there's 3 outs, leaving Mathis stranded on third of the Trenton Generals. And they're back up at the plate, holding on to their 3-0 lead and trying to increase it when we come back in the bottom of the third. We'll see you there.
Gavin West.
Now here in the bottom of the third is Dustin Ferraro. Replacing Ethan Grodak on the mound. He's pitched 12 innings so far this summer, allowed 14 hits and 7 earned runs. Walked 6 batters and struck out only 2 for a 4.08 ERA. He's facing Gavin West here, who didn't get on base in the last at-bat. That's the first time that's happened so far today. And West is facing a 1-1. The lights are on here at Moody Park. Not that we necessarily need them at this very moment. With these long summer days. The 2-1 is a big swing and a miss for West there. 2 balls, 2 strikes here for the third baseman, who fouls that one off. Gavin West going into his sophomore season at Monmouth. Grounds that one over to Luke Spencer, who makes the throw to first for out number 1 here in the bottom of the third.
Number 5, first baseman Logan.
Nice clean throw from Spencer from third over to Markert at first. And a good start for Dustin Ferraro in his first at-bat. Here's his second against Logan Eilbacher. Player who, to put it simply, has struggled so far this summer, but struggle is the last word you would use to describe his spring. So still waiting to see him get on track as he grounds that one foul and falls to a knee afterwards. But so far this summer, he's 2 for 14. With 4 walks and 4 strikeouts. But in the spring, in his freshman season at Catholic University, he was named the Landmark Conference Rookie of the Year. And was also an all-Landmark Conference honorable mention as a freshman. He had a .356 average on 48 hits. 18 of them were doubles. 1 was a triple, and 8 homers as well, with 35 RBIs. He walked 14 times and stole 5 bases. And here he is with a 1-2 count after 2 consecutive foul balls. There's Braden Meskel running around giving the umpire the ball. Seems to always just be the biggest help and the biggest smile out there on the field whenever he's there. That's a little too low, so here's the 2-2. As I said, Meskel is on deck, followed by Dominici. If Dominici can get an at-bat. As Eilbacher grounds this one right over to Luke Spencer. And Luke Spencer once again makes the throw over to first for out number 2. And it'll bring on the catcher, Braden Meskel.
Catcher Braden Meskel.
Solid start for Ferraro, relying on his third baseman for at-bats number 1 and 2 here in the top of the third. See if he can take matters into his own hands against Braden Meskel here. Meskel, a .250 hitter. He was once a .316 hitter back in the middle of June a couple weeks ago. He's been on a bit of a downswing, but nothing too crazy. Did not play in game number 1. And he's looking at a 2-1 count here against Ferraro. And also trying not to be the third out in a row here for Ferraro's start. Don't want to give him that confidence. as he flies this one out into left field. Will it get down? It will. And then it'll get past Kopech. And Braden Mezgel has himself a double. His second extra base hit on the year. Last time he had a double was on June 15th against Southside in game number 1 of that doubleheader. 2 doubleheaders ago. And what a smack from Mezgel out into left field. Brings on Antonio Dominici. Dominici starting things off with a called strike 1. Another player who did not play last game, has not had a hit in over 2 games. Last time was in game number 1 of last weekend's doubleheader against the Quakertown Blazers. Off goes Braden Mezgel on a wild pitch, and that's all the way out in the left field. Mezgel rounding third. Going home is Braden Mezgel. Beating the throw. And getting the 4th run in. And fanning off the cleats as he heads back into the dugout. And boy, he is just so much fun to watch on and off the field. Braden Mezgel was maybe a bit over-eager on what was a little bit of an inerrant pitch from Dustin Ferraro, but then the error on Kuzik for the throw over to third allowed him to go all the way home. So 1, 2, 3 strikeout for Dominici. But during that at-bat, it was Mezgel going from second to third, and then third to home right after that. Just like that, the Generals increased their lead to 4, heading in to the 4th. They're in the halfway point here in game number 2 of this doubleheader between the Trenton Generals and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Miners. And we remind you that this 4th inning is brought to you by DFG Financial Group. DFG Financial Group is a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services, LLC, located in Hamilton, New Jersey. DFG Financial Group is equipped to handle all of your personal and business financial planning services that you may need. DFG Financial Group bringing you into the 4th inning, and we'll be right back with that 4th inning after a short break. So to the catcher for the Generals. Comes home for the 4th run. It's the catcher for the Miners. Now up at the plate, J.P. Kuzik on the 0-1 count. Grounds this one right over to Robert Kelly, who makes a throw to first for out number 1 after 2 pitches.
Number 27, the DH, Nate Dudek.
It brings on the starting pitcher turned designated hitter Nate Dudek with a 4-pitch walk in his first plate appearance. He starts things off here with a 1-0. I'd make that a 2-0. Dudek does stand tall. So you wonder if Delaney just struggles with that different kind of strike box. And apparently not. Just answered my question right there, as that one's called strike one. Dudek swinging at that second one. So here's the 2-2 count for the FDU junior. With an out on the board, he fouls that one off. From Swayersville, Pennsylvania, standing at a 6'4", 218. That one's outside for the full count. So here's the 3-2. Grounded right over to Martinez. Make sure he has it before he makes the throw, and there's out number 2. So the two middle infielders making plays here to start off the 4th inning.
Number 23, left fielder Luke Kopech.
And it'll bring on Luke Kopech, the East Stroudsburg commit. Kopech is 0 for 1 in this one. And make that 1 for 2. Nice liner right over the head of Martinez, out into right center. For the first hit in a little while. Here for the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Miners.
Number 28, first baseman Devin Markert.
Brings on Devin Markert. It's also one of the few players to now have a hit on the day. Looking for another one here out into right field. The catch is made by Ryan Hasdovic for out number 3. Tommy Delaney and the defense behind him have all been looking very, very solid so far halfway through this one. Shutout continues. The Generals lead 4-0 over the Miners as we head in to the bottom of the 4th. This is Ben Chadwick bringing you through this doubleheader, game 2 of this doubleheader, where the Generals look to sweep the Miners. Don't go anywhere. Just about halfway there. We'll see if they can, as it would be massive for a team that has had their struggles so far this season. We'll be right back. break here. Bottom of the fourth now. Mike Coryell had talked with the umpire just about the changes that we expect to see on the field in the top of the fifth. But for right now, Robert Kelly is still up at bat, just like he would have been if no changes were made at all. Got a hit in his first at bat. Now he's looking at a 2-1 after that foul ball. Two one is high, make it a 3. Batters count here for Kelly. Ferraro in his second inning of work. Through 18 pitches in the third inning. And he starts off throwing 5 pitches here to walk Kelly.
Number 27,
Brings on Lance Eilbacher. Looking for his first time on base here in this one. Pitch from Ferraro is high and inside. That one from Eilbacher is going to be out into left field. It'll be Kopech chasing it down, and Kopech making the grab for out number 1 here in the bottom of the fourth.
number 21, right fielder, Ryan.
So Eilbacher flying out into left field. And brings on Ryan Hasdovic, who is 1 for 1 in this one. That's his first hit on the day. He went 0 for 3 last game. And that one, a wild pitch from Ferraro, is going to allow Kelly to easily advance over to second. Bottom of the order here with Hasdovic. In the bottom of the fourth, over the halfway point here in the 7-inning game. Hasdovic with a shot onto right field. Milan making the catch. Off goes Kelly over to third base, and rather he'll stay. And boy, that was a nice throw from Milan to keep him there. And a good decision by Coach Coryell as well to keep Kelly on second.
Pinch hitting for the Generals, number 24, Jake DeClerico. And so it begins.
So here is Jake DeClerico wearing the number 24 out there. Had a little jersey issues. And he lines that one right into the glove of Luke Spencer. Oh boy, good contact, but even better reaction time from Spencer to grab out number 3 here in the bottom of the fourth, heading over to the fifth. The Generals enjoy a 4-0 lead. We'll see if the Miners can start to get things going. They have 2 runs on the entire day, none in this game so far. And that's going to have to change soon if they want to come back in this one. We'll see you in the top of the fifth.
Jeremy
Welcome you back. Here is Ben Chadwick with you in the top of the 5th inning. Chris Montone is now taking over on the mound here for the Generals. He'll be taking over. He's pitched 6 innings so far this summer. And he started both games, and both games were in the first week of the season. He started the very first game against Scranton. And in that game, he was credited with the win. In 3 innings, he allowed 0 hits and 0 earned runs while striking out 3 batters. So if that's the Chris Montone the Generals get once again against the Miners, I think they're in pretty good hands. He started another game on June 8th. Again, 3 innings, allowed 1 hit, no earned runs, struck out 6 batters. So Chris Montone, it's been a little while, but here he is. Now in late June. Facing off against Jeremy Cawley. Cawley flies that one out into left field. DeClerico chasing it down, and DeClerico making the grab while running over. They're in the warning track back there. So it was a scary out number 1, but it's an out number 1 regardless for Chris Montone. And this Generals defense looking to keep the shutout going. Brings on Evan Melberger. Dodges out of the way of the first pitch. Chris Montone heading into his junior season at Rider University. That one once again coming real close to Melberger. Melberger, who has had at least 1 hit in his past 5 games. Did not play earlier today. This is his first time playing in the doubleheader. And his 0-1 count. He'll walk his first time on base here today. So from bottom of the order, back to Jack Mathis at the top. Mathis had a double in his last at-bat. Another one here could possibly get the first run on the board for the Miners. And here is the hit by Mathis. The double play cannot be made. Kelly fumbling with it over at the shortstop position as he rounded or neared second base. So the error on Kelly as he's shaking his hand off. Looks like the ball smacked him right in the right hand. So Melberger on second now. And Jack Mathis on first. Now Luke Spencer. He's 0 for 2 on the day. And Montone still seems to be struggling to find a strike box in these first few batters. That one from Spencer goes out into left center. The catch is made by Eilbacher for out number 2. Nice and simple second out. Jake Milan back on. Milan is 0 for 1 with a walk. Here in the top of the 5th. Miners going to have to get something going. Going to have to get it going soon. Trailing by 4. That fastball. is in there for strike one. There's 2 outs on the board, 2 runners on as well. Here's the 1-1 to Milan out of FAU. He fouls that one off back towards us. Milan in game 1 went 1 for 4 with a single and an RBI single at that. Also struck out twice. And he went around with the bat there. So it's a 2-2 rather. I think you remember how he does that, like that thing. I think he called a ball on that first pitch, I think.
Count. Carlos, what's count? Thank you.
Is it 1-2 or 2-2? 1-2. Thank you. So here's Milan, a 233 hitter. Was a 255 hitter in his junior season at Florida Atlantic University. He's got a 1-2 pitch with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Up. And a great read from Montone. Milberger caught in a pickle between third and second, and he is finally tagged out by Robert Kelly. Great job by Chris Montone. Getting the read, turning around just in time, and getting the third out easily. So heading into the bottom of the 5th, the Generals can keep on increasing their lead on top of this shutout that they're producing on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll be right back. 4-0 lead here for Trenton as they look to get their 10th win on the season. Don't go anywhere, folks. Pitching change out there for the Miners, Zach Pacheski. Who we saw batting in the first game. He went 1 for 3, is now on the mound. Facing off against Sean Martinez, who pops that one out. And the catch will be made by Luke Spencer up against the fence for out number 1.
Number 13, third baseman Gavin West.
Jessica has played in 2 games, has just 1 inning pitched. Another pop-up that he will track down, but at the end it's going to be Mark Hart calling the shots and making the play on Gavin West's pop-out.
Number 5, first baseman, Logan Eilbacher.
So rolling through the first 2 batters. Now Logan Eilbacher, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Goes up against Pacheski, who is sporting a 35 ERA because of the 5 earned runs on just 1 inning pitched. Again, he's played in 2 games. Pitched a full inning on June 12th against Pocono, and then faced 4 batters and allowed 4 runs against Southside. And here's Logan Eilbacher finally getting on base today. The single on the grounder out into left field. So a lot of things happening on the very first pitch of each at-bat here in the bottom of the 5th. You had a pop-out, you had a pop-out, and then you have a ground ball single out into left field from Eilbacher. Logan Eilbacher, that is. So here's Braden Mezgel. We saw him have a double, his second extra base hit on the season. And boy, he's looking for another one right there. Smacked that one foul off into the left field. He's got 2 outs on the board, and he's got Eilbacher over there on first. Smacks that one right over to Cawley at second base as he catches the line out for a 3rd out here in the bottom of the 5th. Heading over to the 6th. A very quick 4 up, 3 down here for the Generals. Solid start for Pacheski on the mound. And the Miners are back up at the plate, trying to chop away at this 4-run lead that the Generals have held for quite a few innings now. We'll be right back with the 6th inning of play after a quick break. The Miners have 2 innings to make up 4 runs. It's all going to start here with Jake Milan. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. First breaking ball from Montone causes him to dodge out of the way. Looked like it might have been in there for a strike, but instead, we got a 1-0 count. Chris Montone back out there for his 2nd inning of work. Bit of a wild pitch there for the 3rd ball. And a reminder that the 6th inning is brought to you by Wildflowers Inn Restaurant. Wildflowers Inn Restaurant is located right on the Circle in Pennington, New Jersey, and is one of the best casual dining experiences offered in town. They got a wide variety of food and some of the best pizza you will ever taste. So stop by after this game tonight, after these next couple innings, or go right now whenever your heart's content. You can call 609-737-2392 for Wildflowers Inn Restaurant, bringing you this 6th inning of play. And started off with a 3-0, now full count. Pitch here for Jake Milan. And he flies it up out into left field. DeClerico gets under it, and DeClerico makes the grab for out number 1 here in the 6th inning. J.P. Kuzik now up at the plate. Montone, 22 pitches into his outing so far. Kuzik, the cleanup hitter here for the Miners. He is 0 for 2, looking to get on base for the first time here in this game. Flies one out to left field once again, but this one might be past DeClerico's head, and it might be out of there. And it is. Or rather, a ground rule double, it looks like. It will be a ground rule double. I don't think anyone's absolutely sure. Kuzik is rounding the bases as if he just shot a home run, and he might have. So J.P. Kuzik, the first homer out of all 4 games that we've watched so far today. No one is absolutely sure if that ball was actually a home run, but it is being treated as such. I think the person that would know best is Jake DeClerico. So it brings on Nate Dudek. There's still 1 out on the board, and he's got a 2-0 count. Dudek is 0 for 1 with a walk on the day. It was that 4-0 walk we saw earlier. And now he's looking at a 3-0 count. Ooh, was looking to get that 4-0 walk once again. Instead, it'll be a called strike 1. So here's the 3-1 hitter's count for Nate Dudek. Starting pitcher turned designated hitter here today in this doubleheader. Fouls that one off, and he's got a full count. A 176 hitter on the year. Last time he had the bat in his hands was against Southside on June 20th, and a big swing and a miss there for the strikeout and out number 2 here in the top of the 6th.
Number 23.
So on comes Luke Kopech. He's 1 for 2 on the day. He's facing 2 outs and no runners on. Not the ideal situation for him, but hey, a run did come in for the Miners. And that one goes right over the head of Montone and gets right past Martinez as well. That'll be a little liner single out into center field. Now with Kopech on first, you got Markert up at the plate. He's 1 for 2. Takes the first pitch low for a 1-0 count. Marker was 1 for 3 last game. He's a 270 hitter on the year. The highest average he's had all year since game 1, where he was 1 for 3, which technically is a 333 average. But with a reasonable sample size, this is the highest average he's had all year, and it's because it's been growing. Last 4 games, had at least 1 hit in each of them. And on June 25th against the Pocono Timber Rattlers, he had 3 hits, where he went 3 for 3, along with a walk. So really, really solid game from Marker in that one, who now has a 1-2 count after that called strike and the foul ball earlier, which I'm sure you saw shook the camera just a little bit. Lights are shining a little bit brighter here at Moody Park as the sun continues to go down. 1-2 count with 2 outs on the board, and Kopech over there on first. Off goes Kopech over to second as this one's fouled off once again. The Miners only have 4 outs to work with, and they really need to make the most of them. That's why Kopech was likely stealing there, just in case there is one more base hit left in Marker for this at-bat. Kopech has a chance to come all the way home. Here's the 1-2 once again. And Montone, successful pickoff at least with the read. Can the tag be made? It can. Robert Kelly is once again the man on the tag for the second straight pickle here in this game. And Braden Mesgall is psyched up about it. And there's out number 3. So Chris Montone, 2 successful pickoff attempts. He has really had eyes in the back of his head so far in this game, which is always good to see a pitcher with that much awareness. So with that, the Miners are down to 3 outs, but first they need to make sure that the Generals don't tack on any more insurance runs here in the bottom of the 6th. And we'll be right back for it. This is Ben Chadwick bringing you through the last 6 outs, or possible 6 outs here at Moody Park after what has been a long and really solid day of baseball on this Saturday morning, turned afternoon, turned evening. We'll be right back, folks. Antonio Dominici up at the plate here in the bottom of the 6th. He's 0 for 2 on the day and starts off this third at-bat with a swing strike. And a foul ball to tack on afterwards for the 0-2 count. It's Dominici, Kelly, and Eilbacher are the 3 due up, nearing the bottom of the order here, the 6, 7, 8. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss there from Dominici, the 1-2-3 strikeout. Brings on Robert Kelly.
Number 7, shortstop, Robert Kelly.
Who is 1 for 1 with a walk. His 3rd plate appearance of the day. A swing and a miss gives him a 1-1 count. Pacheski still on the mound. And that That fastball is low and away. So here's the 3-1 to Robert Kelly. The Monmouth University commit will walk over to first base with an out on the board. He's a .255 hitter on the year. And he's been hovering around that 250 range for quite a while now, the past 4 games. 4 games ago, he was at a 250. On June 26th, which would be Wednesday, he was at 256. After Thursday night's game, 255. And after the game before, he's staying at a 255, which means he's going 1 for 4 quite often in these games. But 1 for 1 in this one. Of course, walking. And bringing on Lance Eilbacher. Fouls off the first pitch. 0-1 count with Kelly on first and an out on the board. Lance Eilbacher flies this one out to right center. Could it get down? Will it get down? It will not. The catch is made by Jake Milan. Kelly is going to have to race all the way back to first, and it was close. Kelly is safe at first. Pacheski comes back to save the ball from bouncing over the fence possibly and letting Kelly just walk over to second right after all that happened.
Number 21, right fielder, Ryan Osdovic.
Really solid throw from Jake Milan all the way out from deep right field. As Ryan Osdovic will now take the plate. He's 1 for 2. Trying to get on base once again and tack on another run for the Generals. Popped up into center field. Melberger comes in. Shallow left center and makes the grab for out number 3. Possibly the last out on the Generals. Now it's just a matter of if the Generals can get 3 more outs to put this game to bed and be the second straight team today in Moody Park to win both of their home games. We saw the Mammoths do it earlier against what was the number 1 team in the North Division. Now we'll see if the Generals can do it against the current number 1 team in the North Division. We'll be right back, folks. Three outs left to go. Bosley make that 2 outs. Markert holding the bat all the way over to first base as he hustles over. And that's 1 down with just 2 to go here for the Generals.
Number 10, second baseman, Jeremy Cawley.
So the grounder over to West. West makes the throw to Logan Eilbacher and brings on Jeremy Cawley, who still has yet to get on base here today. It's the 7-8-9. 2 up here. Montone starting him off with a nice strike in the bottom right corner. Pitching has been very solid as Cawley flies that one out. It might be down safe. That's a great play by Jake DeClerico, hustling in shallow left field near the line. Making the play for out number 2.
Number 8, center fielder, Evan Milberger.
3 pitches, 2 outs. Evan Melberger 0 for 1 with a walk on the day. And he needs to get on base or else this one is all over. And the Miners will be swept, I should say, by the Generals. And as Jeff to my right said, yes, it has been a long day. A lot of baseball we've been going through, and Melberger is going to keep this game going. Ground to right up center. And we're not over yet here from Moody Park.
Number 6, shortstop, Jack Mathis.
And back at the top of the order, Jack Mathis, who is 1 for 3 with a double. And a double would do wonders right here for the Miners. First pitch is a ball, blows right by him. That one is popped up way high. Hasdovic and Albacher are both fighting down for it. And eventually it's Hasdovic coming all the way down, making the catch, still running all the way over to get into the line at the end of the game to dap up all his teammates. And the Trenton Generals have yourself a Saturday afternoon and evening. Came into today 8-11-1. Came out 10-11-1. A huge Saturday. Facing off against the top team, or currently, or past a top team in the Northern Division. Scranton Wilkes-Barre Miners. They jumped up into that number 1 spot after Southside got swept. And now they just got swept themselves. The Trenton Generals. What an outing for them it was. And your player of the game is going to go to Tyler Delaney, who pitched 4 innings, 33 strikes on 58 pitches. He allowed 3 hits, but no earned runs to his name, as well as a strikeout. Left 4 runners on base. And you can't ask for much else. A 4-1 win here for the Generals as they improve to 10-11-1. And as the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Miners fall to 12-9. From Moody Park, it has been a long day of baseball. 28 innings to be exact that we've gone through today, but none of those 10-2 games that we've seen in Moody Park in the past. They were some really, really solid and really respectable baseball games being played here in the ECCBL in our crossover matchups between the Northern and Southern Division. And boy, today it was the Southern Division coming out on top. The Mammoths tack on 2 more wins to their record, as do the Generals. So, folks, we thank you so much for watching. If you watched for a couple minutes or for all 8-9 hours, we really appreciate your viewership, you listening to me talk for all those hours, which, hey, I love it, but I understand that most people can't put up with it for that long. Lord knows my girlfriend and family can't. So I really appreciate anyone watching here today. For 1 game, for all 4 games, it is much appreciated by all of us here in the ECCBL. So for Ben Chadwick, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you Monday.